We know, and we can all agree, that our world has changed, right? And I wrote a few ideas there. Unprecedented disruption. Who would agree that everything, almost everything, has been disrupted? Probably the majority of us today, right? There's been a cascade of cancellations, closings, social distancing. So knowing that the world has changed, I was, Gwen mentioned that I do a lot of work with Gallup. And so I was reading some of the surveys, that they have data for almost everything, too much data sometimes, but I love looking at that stuff. And I thought I would share some of those statistics with you. So what are some examples of these changes that have taken place in an incredibly short, well, it doesn't feel that short, but incredibly short amount of time and really fast speed. So here's an example. Here are some statistics. So for example, there is 81% of full-time employees who said that COVID-19 has disrupted their life a great deal or a fair amount, which is a little bit of a distinction, right? I think almost 100% of people would say, yes, my life was disrupted. But the little nuance here is it has been disrupted in a significant way. Hold on, let me move you out of the way for a little bit. Not that I don't love seeing your lovely faces, but I kind of need to see what I'm saying. All right, so a great deal or a fair amount, 81%. Now, before the pandemic, that number was around 58%. 58% of us kind of felt our life was disrupted by one thing or another. So that's an interesting statistic. My next one is full-time employees working from home because COVID-19 closures. 61% at the end of March is the data that we have. Before the pandemic, the number was around 33%. So it is a significant increase. I mean, it might be surprising that it's only at 61%, but if we consider what it was before, it's doubled in a few weeks, right? So what is the impact of this and how are we coping with that? Here's a couple more. 65% is the people who have shared that either daily worry or daily stress has increased, and it has increased from about 37% to 65%. So Sharon was saying before, there's a lot of different emotions going on. There's a lot of different coping mechanisms going on, and all of this change, of course, drives stress, drives worry, and now it's almost double what it was before the pandemic. And last but not least, I kind of laughed when I read this one. So this is the percentage of parents who are working full time and have kept their kids at their home from school. So before the pandemic, it was less than half of the population. So it was about 44% of the people. Now it's like 100%, right? All of the schools are closed. I kind of laughed because I kind of probably keep it down for now. There's somebody around here that might hear me. All right, so a lot of change, very little time. What do we do? So Gallup also found, before I go to what Gallup found, there was an informal survey done by the Harvard Business Review, and they surveyed about 300 organizations. Because the question and the conversation of today is like, what was the reaction of the organizations with the crisis? What did they do? What are they still doing? So how well are organizations balancing employee needs and organizational needs? So in an informal survey, HBR asked questions around overall reaction to the pandemic, overall reaction to communication, overall reaction on changes of work from home policies, flexibility of schedules, changing of shifts, and also virtual learning. So with all of the things that they were asking, they really wanted to know the initial reaction, informal initial reaction, and this is what they were looking for. Oh wait, no, this is not what you were looking for. So, okay, so here is my poll for you. Let me see if I can do this. Yes, okay, so let's do a little focus group here and answer this question. Just at a glance, overall, how do your organization react? And your options are very well or extremely well. Please vote, take a minute to vote. The good news was, I mean, it's a reflection, our little group is a reflection of the global informal survey. When employees were surveyed, the good news is 2/3 of the population said either very well, like 40%, or extremely well, which was at 29%. And there was only a 5%, small group of the population that said that their organization didn't react well at all. So that's good news to start with, right? I mean, regardless of our emotions and still the sense of uncertainty, I think overall we're feeling that our organizations are reacting in a positive way. So what does that